starting with our second installment of communication training. So this week we're going to be talking about Donald Trump and the Trump effect. But I want to give you guys the warning. Don't watch this. You have no excuses. And by now you got to realize this is going to be one of those times when you're not going to be able to get away too much, because now everybody's going to have to pull together, and just doesn't seem to be happening that way. So we deal with this guy Trump. I was surprised that the 50% of the women voted for the guy, but then they protest and said, well, we don't want him to be president and things like that. But they really should be talking to the people that voted for the guy, really. Because for us as black people, we kind of realize now who they are. They've come out of the woodwork. And, I'm kind of glad, really, because now we know who they are. And now the strategy has to be put in place. So as we talk and we begin to look at what's happening, we have to say at some point or another, well, hey, how's this all going to work out? Who's going to be right? Who's not going to be right? But I've written down some things here, and later on during the inauguration here on the 21st, I think it is, he's going to be inaugurated, and there's a women's protest. And for me, I'm thinking you should probably done a little town hall thing, maybe get your strategy together. The march isn't really going to be, I don't know, I really wouldn't do it. And then on top of that, I heard they were making this thing called the Pussy Hat Rally. And I don't know, man. That's kind of a mixed message type thing, Okay, hey, pussy hat. Okay, for me personally, I don't get those second chances or even first chances. I don't get a chance to grope anybody. I get a chance to get shot while I'm unarmed. I don't get a chance to treat people bad. Because I don't have money. I'm the bad guy here. So as long as I, try to communicate and be the nice guy all the time, my life's not in jeopardy. But now, that things are not focused on me and mine, I think this is that time. So, the march is going to be cool. You guys go ahead and do that. Take your time. You guys probably got time to do that. You're probably wealthy people. You have nothing but time to stand around and do nothing and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. You got money. You got time to do that. I don't have time for that. And I know there's a whole bunch of other people like me that don't. So you have to look at the difference between protesting, wasting time, and actually doing action type things. So let's look at this. The pussy hat bad move. So, let's look at it like this. Let's take what's going to happen. We know that once Donald Trump gets in, him and all his wealthy friends and all the people that he's appointing to his cabinet at this time are all wealthy people. One guy's settling out for $100 and some odd million, which in my opinion, he ain't worth it. But that's, he does. He's he thinks highly of himself. That's very good. And that's cool. And I agree. I think everybody should be very highly of themselves. But one thing they should never do is do what was, told not to do, and that's to have a different respect of person for those that do as compared to those that don't. But that'll be straightened out later too. So here we go. We know that the poor are going to continue to get poorer. We already know that. Even with this unemployment rate being as low as it has been in the last 10, 12 years, people are still being poor, And I see that, the pricing and the low income as compared to the wealthy homes and all these other things. These are all happening simply because these times are now, because why worry about those guys? Don't worry about them. Don't worry about those guys. They'll come around, they'll get a job, a good minimum wage job, and struggle for the rest of their miserable lives. But, we also know that the systems that have been put in place to this point, they're all going to fail. It's not going to be to where at some point their understanding is going to be better now. And now that Trump is in, that they're all going to be smarter or more intelligent, or that all of a sudden a revelation is going to come and they're going to realize that the wealthy really is not the point here. You know what I'm saying? That this guy and his friends and the people that you voted in, because I didn't vote for the guy, okay? I would never do that. You know, even against my own daughters or my mother or sister or, you know, aunts or anybody else, just because of that. I mean, I'll go to blows because people talk bad about my mother. You think I'm going to let somebody grope them? But no, you guys vote for him. You're cool. You're all right. You know, that's the reason why I don't have a supermodel and he does. Okay? Maybe I got better hair, but, you know, it's because he has money and I don't. I've never had even a woman as long as I've been alive ever said to me, hey, Mike, let's go to the movies. Or, hey, man, let's go hang out and I'll take you to dinner. Psh, are you kidding? Seriously? You know, and you know, I really feel sorry for the women in this country. I do. You know, just like the Muslims, they're all covered up and everything else. But I feel sorry for you women because you don't have someone to protect you. And I'm really surprised that no one has thought about another agency other than the police that can actually train someone how to, you know, be respectful of women. Because, you know, there's just some people you just can't talk to. They won't be reasoned with. And the freedom gives them the ability to, you know, disrespect you, your family, kill them, rape them, do whatever they want to do. Because they have that freedom, and then it's a matter of being caught. But one thing I've never seen since time began is the fact that where are the public citizens that are strong enough to subdue the guy that beats his wife? Why doesn't that happen? I bet you the wife would probably pay you maybe $20 an hour per person to come over and tune up this punk. And the next time I get on the phone, I'm not going to call the police. I'm going to make sure that the insurance that we have now is all paid up. Because when your bitch ass gets out of the hospital, you can continue to pay the bills on insurance and all that stuff while we work our way up out of this. Well, hell, we do that. I would create an agency just like that right now. I would say, okay, listen, okay, call up Guido and his thug buddies. Call it, you know, preventive police or you know, the police advocacy people. Okay, what's the problem? Well, you know, my husband beat me up, you know, and, you know, he's got me afraid all the time. Oh, really? Okay, so we're going to come by, a couple of my friends come by, and we're going to come and talk to him. We're going to send 2 guys. That's $40 an hour. Okay? Well, we'll probably be 80. Okay, because, you know, administrative costs and things like that. You know what I'm saying? You pay these guys. They come in, they talk to the guy, tell him, hey, dude, this is not right. This is not what you're doing. You can't beat your kids. You can't beat your wife. Drink all the time. Spend all the money. Throw the money away. Tune this punk up. You heard me. Break him up. He don't want to act right? Then somebody should look out for the wife and child. Why? Because I heard somewhere that it was our responsibility to look after widows and orphans. You know, I think, you know, because of knowledge and wisdom, we should probably be a little more preventive. And try to be, you know, to where, you know, we kind of nip this in the bud before they become widows or orphans, or before someone gets hurt, okay? Don't need, you know, CPS or, you know, all of these facilities where women have to have these shelters and such because they're hiding from this crazy person that doesn't understand that he is as responsible as the next person. So, that's what you should do, Trump, really. Put that together instead of being a racist white boy. But, you know, the other issue here is all the gains will be lost. Unemployment, you know, health care, the wages, it's all going to be bad. Oh, and again, my number one thing here is that you got to understand that right now, I'm looking at 2 things here. Institutional poverty, okay, coming from the trickle-down era. Institutional poverty from the back in the 60s. That's when this stuff came into play. And that's when the timeline went down. But then you have this Willie Lynch era. Now, we've had Jim Crow, post-slavery, we've got civil rights era, I don't know what that was between civil rights and, 60s, 70s. You got to go spend your time in the military, but we're still going to treat you like crap. Okay, I went through that. And I'm looking at these eras, and this guy, Willie Lynch, you guys really need to check this out. Go on the web. Willie Lynch Manifesto. This guy here, man, after you read this, you'll realize that at some point or another, you have people in this community, especially in the black community, that are against the black community. These are black people that won't spend a dime with other black people because, oh no, they're shady. Oh, they don't want to do nothing. All we ever wanted was a fair share. We just wanted a fair share of history and everything else. Even though we've done the most, without a doubt, conventions, everything else, we've done the most here, even though we were the most oppressed. And I'm not going to be here like the Jewish people, woe is me, wah, wah, wah. Here's what's going to happen. We believe, and we are the culture that has the most faith. So what we're going to do here is we're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to communicate. We're going to talk about racial issues. We'll probably do about 3 segments of that. But we're also going to make sure that you people, and I'm personally going to stand up for the black community and say, hey, listen, okay, I'm not no community leader type person, but I believe I can communicate and let you know that we in my community, we're sick of this. We're sick of being shot, okay? And I believe steps should be made. So I'm going to throw some stuff out there. You don't have to listen, and I don't suggest you do. Because, as you can tell, the undertone here is, I do what I'm told, I feel better, and that helps you to understand the fact that in this next future, these next times that are coming up, you should listen. But, like I said again, the warning is there. I got to keep saying it because, I'm looking at all the complacent issues. This guy Trump, man, wow, dude, this guy, okay. I know he's not in my best interest. I know that. So, by saying that, and then on top of that, the guy picks the fight with the wealthiest people in the world, the Muslims, the Arabs. These guys are, come on, not besides being, radical type individuals, more in their area than, the gang members that we're hanging out with, the Bloods and the Crips, South Side, West Side, stuff like that. But these guys are worse than that. So you got to look at this and say, this guy here gets in and he just shoots his mouth off. The next thing you know, we got bombings everywhere. Oh, believe me, it's going to happen. Why? Because look at them people over in France. All they did was made some drawings. They were drawing some things, and they blew the joint up. What do you think they're going to do to Donald Trump and everybody that supported him? They're coming after you. And guess what? I'm cool with that. Now, you won't be on my back. You won't be on me and mine. You're going to have to sit up here and deal with the richest people in the world. And you know something? I don't really blame these guys. I'd be upset too. I'd be extremely upset. Because you ignore them. Just like you negated everything I've said. But I'm going to say this year. And my conscience will be clear. Because I was just like anybody else. Everybody was given a chance. Just like you said you gave me a chance when, I was loitering at the school. Okay? When the police pull me over. When I get the most tickets. Or I get pulled over all the time. Haven't got shot yet, but, I'm sure that's coming. But I'm going to get ready for that. In the meantime, the rest of you, you're going to pay. Sad. But it's like the cigarette smoker. What, you didn't think you were going to get cancer? Oh, that's right. By the way, I was told that stop spending your money for cancer research. You killed the guy. He's dead. The dude that made the cure for cancer is dead. You killed him. He wasn't your color. So now, all the money, all the people, it's kind of like a plague. No cure? Is that one of the plagues? Well, we'll see. But he's dead now, so don't bother. You really should be nice to the rest of the people that are alive. and try sharing some of that money. You don't have to be that rich. Don't watch this. But I hope everybody understands. We're going to communicate. We're going to continue to communicate. But I'm going to try to get over the disgruntled thing first. My parents aren't around anymore, so I decided I'd do this now. There's nobody really to hurt anymore. So, my children are thicker than all of us, so we don't have to worry about that. So, we'll see. God bless. Continue to pray. And from what I got here, the only way out of this effect really is communication and faith. So, here we go. Bye.